Let me begin by welcoming our viewers, including members of Canadian Parents for French and families of Camp Tournesol campers who may be watching. I'm Denise Massey, President of Canadian Parents for French Ontario. And today it is my pleasure to interview Martine Brouillet, the owner and founder of Camp Tournesol. Bienvenue, Martine.
Merci.
I will also be joined by Betty Gormley, our Executive Director, in presenting Martine with a special award in recognition of her resilience this year as she came face to face with the possibility of losing a thriving business to the COVID pandemic. Her story is inspirational. It is about her ability to adapt to a new virtual reality in order to keep kids engaged in fun French activities. Martine, ça fait plusieurs années que nos deux organisations ont signé un partenariat de collaboration. Pendant ce temps, plus que 10 000 enfants ont participé dans les camps d'été Tournesol et leurs parents ont devenu membres de Canadian Parents for French. Canadian Parents for French Ontario has enjoyed a long-standing partnership with Camp Tournesol. During that time, more than 10,000 children have benefited from their participation in the Camp Tournesol summer camps. Before I jump into the specifics of this year's story, I'll start by asking you, what drives a successful French summer camp? What has been your strategy for success over the years?
19 years ago, I started this camp because my children didn't want to speak to me in French in the summer. So I invited some of their friends and I thought, let's do some activities where they have to speak French. We're just going to talk French while we're doing fun activities. And so very quickly, I started getting inundated by requests from other parents who wanted to come. So I asked my sister, who's a teacher, for help, and another friend. And so I quickly saw how important that was and how valuable that was for the children. And so I think that has been the cornerstone of our camp, is that we keep the children, first of all, French immersion students and French students only together. I find that when you put together children of different levels of French core, French immersion, beginners, you'll find a strong speaker take it down a notch to the level of the weaker speaker. So it's not a rich experience for them. So for us, being able to keep them in a separate age group and as much as possible the same fluency really helps with enriching the experience. The second thing I think that was critical is right from the first year, we started offering a transition program for age 5 and 6 to enter French immersion. So it was a bilingual program, and it still is, to prepare children to enter French immersion and be successful. So that's a very, very popular program for us. So the decision to make it a French experience as opposed to mimicking school has been critical. They come, they have fun, they partake in activities while speaking French and enriching their vocabulary.
Canadian Parents for French and Camp Tournesol share a common understanding that when kids have French outside of the classroom, those are the moments that inspire them to continue on their path to bilingualism. Dites-moi, vous avez certainement fait des sondages pour savoir qu'est-ce qui résonne avec les jeunes. Quelles sont les activités les plus mémorables pour les enfants qui participent dans vos camps?
Les enfants adorent avoir l'opportunité d'échanger avec d'autres enfants. Les enfants, ce sont des animaux sociaux. Ils veulent échanger. Donc, avoir la possibilité d'être dans un environnement qui n'est pas très structuré et qui leur permet d'échanger avec des enfants qui proviennent de d'autres conseils scolaires, d'autres écoles, où ils peuvent voir qu'ils ont les mêmes défis, les mêmes difficultés, c'est très encourageant pour eux. Évidemment, les activités sont développées pour être très amusantes toute la semaine, mais il y a évidemment le festival à la fin de la semaine qui est très apprécié des enfants, où on fait des courses à obstacles, on fait du maquillage, ils mangent de la pizza, ils font la présentation de leur création. Donc ça, c'est toujours un gros hit. Le jeudi où on va dans les pataugeoires et ils s'amusent à l'extérieur est super aussi. Mais il y a quelques années, on a commencé à offrir dans les camps de jour un feu de camp imaginaire. Donc les mercredis, dans le gymnase, on recrée l'atmosphère d'un feu de camp et on chante des chansons à répondre et on leur raconte des histoires folkloriques. Et les enfants adorent cette activité, même qu'on l'a amenée dans nos camps virtuels cet été.
Quelle est votre pratique pour embaucher des moniteurs et monitrices qualifiés?
Le recrutement et l'embauche est un défi pour tous les camps, mais particulièrement les camps en français dans une province anglophone. Donc, c'est quelque chose sur lequel on travaille tout l'été, à l'année longue. Toute l'année, c'est-à-dire à l'année longue. Donc, on a développé des relations avec toutes les universités qui offrent des programmes d'éducation en français à travers l'Ontario. On a aussi ciblé des universités et des cégeps au Québec où on a des relations avec les conseillers pédagogiques afin d'attirer des candidats de là. Mais évidemment, on a notre programme d'apprenti moniteur où les jeunes campeurs se développent et deviennent moniteurs juniors et moniteurs éventuellement dans nos camps, ce qui est très valorisant. Mais vraiment, notre arme secrète, ce sont nos moniteurs. Nos moniteurs sont tellement excités de partager leur passion. Ils sont des grands ambassadeurs pour eux. On a des programmes incitatifs pour eux, mais vraiment, ce n'est pas utile parce qu'ils n'en ont pas besoin. Ils sont tellement excités de parler à leurs amis de l'expérience qu'ils recrutent pour nous. Notre nouveau directeur de camp qui a débuté avec nous en janvier, une période difficile, qui a eu des années d'expérience dans d'autres camps plus traditionnels d'aventure, nous dit d'ailleurs que c'est la grande différence. Quand il rencontre nos animateurs et nos moniteurs à la fin de l'année, on fait des évaluations présentement, et qu'il leur demande pourquoi tu travailles dans les camps, qu'est-ce que tu as aimé de ton expérience. Dans les camps traditionnels, en majorité, on entend des réponses comme « Ah, c'est le fun les camps, c'est super chill, je m'amuse beaucoup ». Alors que nos animateurs, on entend des réponses comme « Ah, j'adore voir les enfants s'améliorer, avancer leur français avec moi, partager mon amour du français avec eux, les voir passer 2-3 semaines avec moi et être capable de faire des phrases complètes qu'ils ne pouvaient pas au début. » Alors, on voit vraiment une passion en eux. Et donc, c'est ça qu'on recherche. Quand on les embauche, évidemment, on veut un niveau de français, un bon niveau de français, mais aussi la passion et l'engagement vers le français.
Let's go back to March of this year. COVID-19 is recognized as a worldwide pandemic. Schools are closed indefinitely, and all social gatherings are banned. What was your first reaction?
I remember March 12th very vividly. We had just canceled our own in-person March break camp a couple of days before, and the government announced that they were shutting down all camps. City of Toronto canceled their camps, and they were closing school for 2 weeks. So 1 week past March break. So, you know, summer felt so far then that we didn't think it was going to be a long-term thing. We just thought, you know, we sat down with our programming team, our camp director, our assistant camp director at Telka at the time, Madeleine, our HR specialist, who's a mom as well. And we said, well, we were going to run camp. So what can we do now that could help the parents that are now going to have all their kids in self-isolation at home? And so we said, well, we have all these books, we can read stories, and we know we have all these songs, we can sing songs, and we have workbooks, we can guide them through workbooks. So we quickly made a plan of what we could do, just the people in the office, and open a few classes. So daily class every day at 10 o'clock, we'll meet to read a book, a different age group. And we opened a few classes that we thought we could handle, and just launch an email on Friday morning to our database. And so on Saturday morning, I remember waking up and looking at our dashboard in our registration system and seeing the registration, click, 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 click. And we thought, whoa, this is overwhelming. Clearly, parents really need that. So throughout that weekend, our team worked really hard. We reached out to counselors that were hired to work in the summer and said, you know, can you work a few hours a day to be able to open more camps so that parents, more classes, so that parents could register for them. And we had experience with Zoom because we'd been doing tutoring and Delft preparation class for a few years, but this was a completely different level. So at that time, we still thought it was a 2-week period. And so we just thought, let's run class at cost and give back to the community.
How did you rally in the face of the coronavirus to deliver virtual programming to keep kids engaged and enjoying French activities from home?
So if we take it back to the story, we're now 2 weeks into our fun virtual class, and we're starting to get calls from parents and emails saying, can you run academic class? Prime Minister closes school for another 2 weeks. Now we're starting to think this pandemic is for real and it's going to last longer. So I reached out to my director of curriculum, Annie Bellemare, who's a fantastic resource, a master of curriculum development, experienced second language teacher. And I said, can we put together a team to develop some content to be able to give children the enrichment they need while they're not getting it from school? The schools were very slow in responding to this. And also, the French interaction is so important. So they were not getting live classes from teachers. So we put together a team of our past counselors to start developing content and offer classes. Again, we thought this was a temporary measure, but we had a great team that really worked hard together to develop this. And we started offering more and more class, conversation class, writer's workshop, reading workshop. And so as this progressed, we started seeing that things were actually getting canceled. So we have a network of camp director camp owners, and it started becoming very negative, very stressful. We got to the end of April and decided to cancel our Quebec trip, which was almost sold out because the situation in Quebec was completely out of control. And so that was our first step of refunding family. And so looking at the debt that all camps and all children programming organization were facing, registration debt. And so some people were talking about, credit notes or deferring it to future years. And so it started becoming very nerve-wracking as to how are we going to survive. And so seeing how well our virtual classes were doing, and even our virtual tutoring started really pick up, we decided to invest, which was a big decision at the time, being faced with a huge debt. But we thought this is the thing that we should go forward. This is what the market needs. So we invested in developing more curriculum, more grade-specific and focused curriculum. And you had a team of 5 teacher in training that were developing under her. And meanwhile, we started hiring more and more staff to be able to deliver these classes. So we ended up with 31 staff working for us. We were welcoming 150 to 200 kids a day in our virtual classes, coming every day to follow a class with a leader. And so we started seeing real connection. Instructors that were reporting stories such as a kid from Church and Fall in Newfoundland coming to the class telling the kid from Ontario that, I live where the electricity is made that you're using, and started to exchange and talk about electricity and what that meant. A kid who showed up in pajama at the 11 o'clock class because he's from LA and he just got up. So now they're starting to talk about what's the weather over there? How's the school over there? So the connection that the kids felt in our class was, I think, one of the most rewarding aspects of this, is that they were feeling so isolated in their home. And now they had a place where they could go interact with children their own age. They were speaking French and they were learning French, but it was a community. It became a community. We had a Club 78 for grades 7 and 8, and the last class, the 2 girls who started crying because it was going to be the last time they're going to see them. We saw a counselor who reported 2 kids who had met each other at our camp 4 years before, reconnecting, rediscovering each other. One of them had moved, and organizing virtual play date for after the class. So that was really, really rewarding. And also, we started seeing people coming to us from different regions, from the States, from different provinces. So I became, in May, where the government decided to cancel all overnight camp. And so now we're facing this other refund, this new debt. I had to really take a little bit of time, step back and think to myself, okay, this has been 19 years. Am I done? Should I just close down right now, or should I continue forward? And so I had my sons who have grown up with the camps were so supportive, as was my husband, who was my partner in this. And so we decided that no matter what, we would fund the cancellation of camps, and take a loan if need be. But I was really going to move completely forward with this. I'm a very persistent and stubborn person. So once I make a decision, I was going for it. So, we lived through the refund of the overnight camp and moved forward with our program, opened virtual camps, which were half day. And we saw a good response from the community as well. But through it all, the support of reaching out for help and being able to see supportive parents who were reaching out to their friends to tell the stories about what we were doing, as we had to reduce expense completely, cancel all advertising. So it really was the parents that were helping us grow this program and become the incredible success that we had this summer. And in June, CPF also came forward with sponsorship for our camp to help them make more affordable to families. And that was, a great help financially, but it was also emotionally a great support to know that our partners were there supporting us, helping us through that. So virtual has been really a life-saving for us. We were able to go through the very difficult decision at the first week of July when we canceled the in-person camp, which was heartbreaking for me. To look forward at a summer with no in-person camp was a real kind of life-changing thing, but it was the right decision, and we were able to refund everyone, and thanks to the virtual program and the virtual camp and the incredible support of our staff that was so dedicated to this whole process throughout the whole summer. I think that the lesson here is, faced with adversity, reach out for help. And if you have a network that is there for you, that supports you, you can move forward and you can get through this.
Et puis, est-ce que vous avez réussi?
Ça a été vraiment un succès inespéré. La semaine passée, on a terminé de compiler les statistiques. On a accueilli dans nos camps plus de 4000 inscriptions depuis le mois de mars dans nos classes et dans nos camps. Plus de 1000 familles nous ont rejoints à travers 11 États des États-Unis et 8 provinces, donc à travers toutes les zones. Et on a rencontré, maintenant, on est rendu à 1200 enfants qui ont passé du temps avec nous cet été. Comme j'ai dit tantôt, on a donné de l'emploi à 31 moniteurs, animateurs, ce qui nous fait énormément chaud au cœur. Donc, évidemment, quand on a compilé les statistiques, quand on travaille sans arrêt depuis mars à essayer d'aller de l'avant et de remplir les classes, et de trouver des nouvelles classes, on ne prend pas le temps vraiment de regarder globalement. Donc, quand on prend le temps de compiler les données et de regarder ça, un peu prendre un arrêt et de regarder, ça nous a fait un coup de cœur vraiment de voir le succès de ces classes-là. Et aussi les sondages de satisfaction qui étaient incroyables. Les parents qui disaient qu'on avait sauvé la vie de leurs enfants, sauvé l'année scolaire de leurs enfants. Leurs enfants étaient assis 10 minutes avant le camp, ils attendaient que la waiting room s'allume pour qu'ils puissent rentrer dans la classe, tellement excités de pouvoir rentrer. Alors, ça a été vraiment inattendu et inespéré, mais encore une fois, c'est dû à un grand réseau qui s'est vraiment dédié à cette mission-là et à ce but et à nos partenaires qui nous ont supportés. Et évidemment, je dois mentionner, sans être une politicienne du tout, mais le support du gouvernement en termes des bourses de salaire nous a aidé énormément à pouvoir embaucher tous ces moniteurs-là pour pouvoir offrir ces classes-là et continuer vers l'avant avec le développement du contenu et du curriculum.
Merci, Martine.
Le plaisir est pour moi.
You know Betty Gormley, our executive director. She'll be joining me in presenting you with this special award of excellence.
Martine, we've known each other for many years. It's always a pleasure to work with you, and our organizations enjoy a fruitful and productive partnership. But this year was a challenging one for parents and certainly for small businesses. And we recognize your resilience. And so we are honored to present you with this Certificate of Excellence to Martine Brouillet, founder of Camp Tournesol, in recognition of resilience, adaptability, and innovation in delivering quality French virtual camps and classes during the coronavirus pandemic. Félicitations, Martine.
Merci beaucoup. I'm very humbled and honored and thankful for this award. It has been a very difficult year for small businesses, and having the support of partner organizations like CPF has meant the world to me and to us. I look forward to be able to continue to support bilingualism and promote it with CPF in 2021.